welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with PR154. And we're here on Corellia in the Japanese Tier 6 Premium Heavy Tank with the most original name going in World of Tanks, Heavy Tank number 6. This is basically a Japanese version of an early Tiger. It's the only Japanese premium heavy tank, and so it can be used as a crew trainer for the rest of the Japanese heavy line. It's a little bit annoying in that it has one less crew member than you actually need to fully furnish the O-Ho, the O-Ni, the Type 4, the Type 5 heavy. So you're always going to be one crew member short. But in any case, this is what we've got. We're on the encounter mode. This is a bit of a risky sort of play for us because we are taking a route that is almost as far away as you can possibly get from the objective. So it's super important that we win whatever fight we land ourselves in on this side of the map and push through. Already we've identified an enemy KV-1 fighting from that G9 position. You can just about bet a valuable body part that they're going to do that, but he's taken a horrendous beating. We've also drawn fire from a T-34-85, so that's probably taken up position in F0 in that sort of bush position. So we're going to put a couple of blind shots in there, and our teammate in the VK-31H has also taken some fire and been destroyed by a Stug-3. So we can expect that there's 2 enemy tanks in there. I'm poking and shooting very cautiously in the HT number 6. It is not particularly it's not particularly well armoured, as many folks find out with Tiger tanks to their disappointment. The fact is, you just have this very wide plate it's difficult to hide. You can really only get by just by baiting shots. It's as a pretty inadequate armour layout, and it's and I guess that's down to tiering by technological progression rather than year of manufacture. I mean, this thing was sort of built in sort of 1943, and you're readily facing late war tanks like T-34-85. This really wasn't appearing until sort of 1944, 1945 with the 85mm gun in response to tanks like early model Tigers. Anyway, I digress. We're using the heavy tank to some effectiveness as a scout, just by drawing in a bit closer, forcing the enemy to show themselves by shooting back, and with 4 tanks and an SPG on our side of the map, we've been able to just overwhelm them with gunfire. Moving forward, we've spotted the VK-3002M, and it's gone for cover in the rocks. So we continue to push forward. This is probably a little bit excessively aggressive on my part, because that we're now potentially in a crossfire here between the KV-1, between the VK on the hill, and of course the rain from the SPG. So we take another hit from the KV-1, narrowly dodge a shell fired by artillery. We're now one-shotable for the KV-1 and probably most of the artillery as well. But just dodged another artillery round. I must have sacrificed a goat to RNGesus that morning, and my teammates managed to take out the KV-1, and that takes their eyes out of the locality, and we're able to sort of push under this ridge and out of the line of fire of the self-propelled guns. Now I'm on 96 hit points, so there is absolutely no way in hell that I'm going to go first, particularly when I got our P43. Well, he's probably not in the best hit point position. He's in a worse hit point position now, having taken that hit. He's even worse than me. But that's all right. I've got Daffy 60, my ever reliable platoon mate, and he's pushing forward onto the artillery. He spots the M41 HMC, and we get to work on it. And with this shot, we claim our third kill for the game. Rolling up the hill, we can see the enemy KV-1S, and he appears to be set on fire by our M4 Sherman, and we put those crew members out of their misery. So we continue our aggressive push up the hill, and we can hopefully get some plunging fire into the cap circle. That our timing on that is probably ideal, because the enemy have started to make their move on the cap circle. They've realised that they're 4 guns down, and capping out is probably their only source of victory at this point. The rest of the game from this point in time, it's a bit more of a sniping exercise. So what I'll do instead, we'll take a more tutorial bent, and we'll talk about the map rings. So if you don't have the map rings enabled, I strongly encourage you to enable them. They are very important. They give you a lot of feedback about your position in the battle. Working from inside to outside, we start off with the 50 metre map ring. If you and an enemy tank are both within this map ring, no matter how good your view range, your concealment rating, or their view range or concealment rating is, you will always spot another enemy tank within 50 metres. And it's a very valuable tool, particularly for light tanks, to see, well, okay, how close can you be to being spotted. The next two are your maximum view range in the white, and your current view range in the green. In tanks such as medium tanks, tank destroyers, and particularly light tanks, you want to be using devices such as coated optics or binoculars to be able to make this green circle as large as possible, so you can get as close as possible to your maximum view range, your maximum sort of spotting range. The yellow circle is the maximum draw distance. A tank outside of that yellow circle, you can see it on the map, but you can't physically see it. It doesn't render for your screen. So they might call it render range as well. You might hear that phrase being used. So the perfect sniping position is if you can position such that the enemy sits between this white circle and the yellow circle. That means you can basically plunge fire into the enemy with absolute impunity, and they can't see you. If the enemy drops out of sight range from nearby enemies, though, it's going to go dark and you won't be able to see it either. So with that lesson out of the way, let's go and take a look at the game results. And that's victory for us in the Heavy Tank number 6. We've come away with a level 1 mastery badge, as well as a few other badges for merit, between Bruiser, which you get for causing damage to internal modules, Duelist, which you get for causing damage to enemy tanks that cause damage to you. We've got the Fighter Medal for destroying 4 enemy tanks or more, which we've accounted for 5 enemy kills here. The Fire for Effect medal, which you earn if you do your own hit points worth of damage to the enemy team, which at 2200 damage caused we have well exceeded. Crucially, however, we've picked up these 2 medals of the Battle Hero category. Now, I needed them because I was going for mission Block 15 of the Excalibur Personal Campaign. So I need to pick up 2 of these in a mission 3 times. So this is the first of the 3. I've actually struggled with this mission to date, so look, hopefully this will be a positive sign and a shape of things to come. So you get the High Caliber medal if you cause at least 1,000 hit points of damage while accounting for at least 20% of the enemy hit point pool, and you pick up Pascucci's medal if you destroy at least 2 enemy SPGs, which we did earlier in the game with the M41 HMC as we made our way up the back line of the enemy flank, and we got our second rather lucky shot while we're in that long range sniping engagement towards the end with a blind shot into the grille. Looking at the team scores, we're placed rather convincingly on top in terms of damage caused and experience earned, and I think we had the lucky flank. However, my platoon mate Daffy 60, he's also done quite well, placing third in terms of EXP and damage, and M113 Trooper in the Easy 8 Sherman, who was also with us. He sort of split off and started fighting from the top of the hill, but lots of opportunities for shots into the enemy cap circle. And you might recall he also set that KV-1S on fire, and we'd put out of its misery. So that's game, set and match for us. If you'd like to see your replays featured on World of Tanks with PR154, please reach out over Discord or contact us at one of the links below, or Facebook or whatever, and we'll do our best to sort you out. In the meantime, take care out there.